of the right hand side companies, Ola and Uber. Okay, so the reason I'm asking you this question is that I just wanted to mention that these left hand side companies, Medu, Dot Cabs, Sky Cabs, okay, these three companies have started their operations in India in the year 2000, 2005 and 2006. Okay, and coming to these right hand side companies, Ola and Uber, these companies started their operations in India in the year 2010 and 2011. Okay, so even though these left hand side these three companies had started before 5 years before 5 years, okay, when compared to these companies, they have started 5 years before these companies, Ola and Uber, but still none of the three companies have become a market leader in the cab industry, right? So these three companies never become number one company in the market industry of cab. Why? What is the reason why they have failed to become the number one company? Let's try to understand it. Okay, my voice is too low. Is it for everyone, guys? Can anyone can confirm that? Is it for everyone? Is my audio clear? Hi, Kiran. I suggest you to increase your volume also because I have checked and it's looking good from my end. Just try to increase your volume and let me know if it is too low. What about other guys? Guys, can anyone can confirm? Is my voice and is there any kind of lag or my voice is clear or not? Is it fine now, Kiran? Okay, so let me know if you are still facing any audio issues. Okay, so I was trying to tell you that these left-hand side companies never became number one company in the market of cab industry, even though they have started 5 years ago, 5 years before this, 5 years before Ola and Uber. Okay, so the reason behind is the way of functionality. Okay, the way of functionality, how these left-hand side companies started working. See, if I wanted to book a cab in these three companies, okay, what I used to do, I used to do the booking by using the traditional method of booking a cab. I used to call to their customer care. I used to tell them that I'm at so and so place, please send a cab and I'll be waiting for that cab. Okay, so they used to send the cab by taking the customers from the on the basis of phone bookings, right? I used to call them and I used to book the cab. But when Ola and Uber started their operations in 2010 and 2011, okay, they introduced Android and iOS apps, right? They have introduced something called a new app technology using which people started booking the cabs, right? So it was so simple, and that was the time when people started using smartphones, right? In 2010 and 2011, people started using smartphones. They started getting into these Androids and iOS, right? And that's the time when Ola and Uber started launched their apps and it became a huge hit, right? It was very simple. User interface was very simple. Just go on to the app, select the location, give the destination place, and that's it. Cab will come and pick you up, right? So what I'm trying to say is like whenever a company is trying to launch a product into the market, they will try to see that they are the first company in the market. Okay, so whenever a company tries to launch a product, they try to see that the product gets launched into the market as soon as possible. Okay, so the reason behind is this. The reason is that in order to capture the maximum number of customers, okay, in order to get to know with the maximum number of customers, any company will try to launch the product as soon as possible. Okay, let me give you one more example. You guys know Paytm, right? Paytm was the first company in the India which introduced phone payments, right? Using phone, we used to scan the QR code and we used to do the payments. And after a while, companies like Amazon Pay, Google Pay, Phone Pay, all these companies started offering the same payment services, right? But still today, Paytm is one of the number one company which offers for phone payments and a lot of other services, right? So every company will always try to launch its product as soon as possible. It will keep updating that product from time to time as per the customer's requirements, right? And in order to become the number one company, in order to maintain, in order to sustain in the market, every company will have some organizational goals. Okay, let's try to see that organizational goals and why every company will need them. Okay, so these are some of the organizational goals which every company will try to see. There are many organization goals, but these are the most important one which I wanted to share. Okay, so the first one is faster delivery of the product. Okay, faster delivery of the product. So what are the product or what are the application the organization is trying to launch into the market? It will try to deliver the product into the market as soon as possible. Okay, it will try to deliver the product as faster as it can into the market. The reason behind it is organization will try to capture maximum number of customers. It will try to capture maximum market share by gaining the customers. Okay, so that's the first organization goal. The second organization goal is higher quality of the product. When delivering a product, the quality shouldn't be compromised, right? So the more the quality, the more product it is, the more good product it is, right? So every company will try to see that what are the product they are offering, the quality of the product should not be compromised, so that the more higher the quality of the product is, the more customers will try to buy that product, right? So this is the second organization goal, to maintain higher quality of the product. Okay, so the third organization goal is less expenditure in developing the product. If the expenditure to complete the project, if the expenditure to develop the project is less, we can expect more returns, right? When you're preparing something, when you are launching something, developing something, if the investments are very less, and automatically your profits will be more, right? So if the expenditure to complete the product is less, we can expect more returns. An organization needs to find where it can cut down the cost to deliver the project. Okay, it should, every organization will try to find out what are the places, what are the things which can cut down cut down the cost to develop the project, so that it can increase their profits. Okay, so that's the third organization goal. Now the fourth one is minimized outages or losses. Okay, so when an issue or outage happens, if the organization resolves it very soon, the impact will be very less. Okay, which means that whenever, for example, if you're buying a product on a uh, if you're buying a product on a e-commerce website like Amazon or Flipkart, and when you're buying it, suddenly the website goes down. So will you try to use that website again from the next time onwards? No, right? So it will add a very negative impact on the customer's interest, right? So in order to minimize the outages, every company will try to see that outages are very less, so that it can lose very less number of customers. Okay, so very recently in December month, Google's Gmail, YouTube, Maps, and a lot of other services were down. Do you guys remember that? Okay, so if you guys remember, then fine. So in December month, Google's major services like Gmail, YouTube, Maps, a lot of other services were down, and all over the world, people who were using those services, they were facing outage. Okay, they were not able to send emails, they were not able to access the maps, a lot of other services. So even though Google is a very good company, very big company, it sends a bad signal to the people who are accessing the Google services, right? So every company will try to see that these outages are very less, so that the business loss and the customers loss should be very less. Okay, so these are the some of the important organizational goals which every company will try to focus on. Okay, so let's try to see how a software development works in a company. Okay, how software development takes place in a company. So guys, every company will have a software development team, right? Development team. So what they will do, they will develop the code, they will send that code to the production environment. Okay, production environment means what? The the place that the stage where the application, okay, the product is available to the customers, right? Available to the customers. So what will happen to the production environment? In the production environment, customers will start using that application, okay, and whatever the feedback they want to give, whatever the issues they are facing, or whatever the bugs they are facing, they will give a feedback back to the company. Okay, they'll give a feedback back to the company. Okay, so the first process is delivering the product to the production environment, and once the customers start using that product, they'll give the feedback back to the company. So what the company will do, they will check that feedback. Okay, what are the bugs are there, bugs, errors, okay, any kind of issues, changes, okay, whatever the customers will tell them, what are the bugs are there, what are the issues, errors, changes required, development team will start working on those things. Again, they will send the new code, okay, new update to the market. Okay, they'll send the new update to the market once again. Again, the customers will start using that new version of the product. Again, what are the changes and what are the bugs they face, they will give feedback to the company. So this is a continuous process. Okay, this is a continuous process of what is happening in the each software development company, and the software development goes on in this cycle. Okay, now whatever I have shown you here, this is a very simplistic approach of software development. Okay, very small example of how software development takes place in a in a normal software development company. Okay, so let's try to understand a little deeper how software development lifecycle with different stages present in the software development, and what is the difference between waterfall and agile model. Okay, okay, so guys, this is the software development lifecycle, a very simplistic method of software development lifecycle. So in each company where software development is taking place, different stages are there. Different stages are there. So the first stage is ideation. Okay, what are the product is there? First, the idea is taken. Okay, then the requirements to develop that idea is gathered. Okay, so this is the first stage. This is the second stage where the requirements to develop that idea. Okay, what kind of engineers are required? What kind of technology has to be used? What kind of infrastructure it has to be hosted on? All those requirements will be gathered on. Then the plan will be designed. Okay, how the product should be developed, how much time it should take, what is the time period the software product should go on to the production environment, which means that how much time it will take the product to reach to the customers. Okay, all those designing will be taken care by the designing team. Okay, and then the development of the product starts. Okay, actual development of the product starts by the development team. So for example, if you're building a website, uh, so the Java development team will start working on that Java web app. Okay, so development will start takes place, and then what will happen from development, the testing will takes place. Okay, testing will takes place, and once the unit testing and all this manual and automation testing completes, then the code will be moved on to the deployment stage. Okay, deployment stage. So where the deployment will takes place on the infrastructure in the production environment, in different environments. Okay, whether it's Linux or Windows or whatever it is, deployment takes place, and finally it will be available to the customers. Okay, so what customers will do, customers will start accessing that product. Okay, they will start using that product, and whatever the changes, whatever the feedback they want to give, they will give the feedback back to the company. For example, you have launched a app. Okay, you have launched an Android app in the Google Play Store. So people will start downloading that app, they'll start using that app, and what are the issues, what are the bugs, or what are the changes they want, what they will do, they'll write a review on the Google Play Store, right? They'll give some stars and they'll write the review. And based on that review, your development team will start taking that review. They'll take that into the consideration and they'll start writing the code for the new version. Okay, they'll try to modify that app as per the customer's requirement, right? So all these things will be happening in a loop. Okay, it's a continuous process and it will be happening in a loop, right? And there is a stage called maintenance. Okay, where all the product, all the I mean the software product, whatever the product which is being developed, it will be monitored and it will be maintained. Okay, it will be maintained in order to see that minimized outages happens. Okay, the product should not go down. Okay, for that reason, maintenance and monitor is one of the important stages which will be taking place in the software development lifecycle. Okay, so any doubts until now? So guys, in order to develop in order to develop the software products, okay, companies had two different approaches. Okay, two different approaches were there how to develop a software product. Okay, so we have something called waterfall model and we have called something called agile. Okay, so the waterfall model, this approach of waterfall model, okay, this approach for developing the product, okay, software product in the IT industry, it was adapted in the early 2000s. Okay, in year 2000 2001, the waterfall model was adapted by the lot of companies. Still today some of the companies are still using this approach to develop the products. Okay, so in waterfall model, all the product activities like ideation, designing, development, all these stages, okay, all these stages, what are the stages which I've mentioned here? Okay, like analysis, design, development, build, testing, quality assurance, deployment, maintenance, and monitoring, all these stages in the waterfall model are broken down in a linear sequential phase. Okay, linear sequential phase. Linear sequential phase, guys. Okay, if you see this line, if you see this part, highlighted part, okay, so linear sequential phase means, guys, each stage or each phase in the software development lifecycle depends upon the deliverables of the previous stage. Okay, each stage is depends upon the deliverables of the previous stage, which means that if I want to make you understand more clearly, once this stage, okay, once the previous stage is completed, then okay, then the next stage starts. Only then the next stage starts. For example, if the designing is completed, okay, then the development will take place. When the development completely that when the development is completely finished, then the testing will take place. Okay, so this linear sequential phase of waterfall model had several drawbacks. Okay, several drawbacks were there in waterfall model. Okay, so one what were the drawbacks, what were the disadvantages of using this waterfall model was faster delivery of the product was not possible. Okay, so every organization will try to deliver the product as soon as possible, right? So the faster delivery organization goal was not matching, was not getting fulfilled by using the waterfall approach. And second organization goal, like higher quality in less time, was not possible. Okay, and when system had any outages, the recovery time was so high that it used to take very good amount of time for the company to bring back the system back to online in a working stage. Okay, so this some of the disadvantages and some of the drawbacks which made waterfall model fail. Okay, so what companies used to do, companies started using a new software development approach called agile. Okay, agile on the right hand side. So agile, okay, what are the drawbacks which we have discussed? Okay, what are the drawbacks which I've discussed for waterfall model? All these drawbacks were overcome. Okay, all these drawbacks were resolved by using the agile software development approach. So in this method, the same stages are there. Okay, the same stages will be there. What are the approach is there? Okay, the stages like development, build, test, quality assurance, deployment, monitoring. These stages will be compulsory. Okay, these stages will be same stages are present in the agile also, but there will be no linear sequential phase, which means that whatever the stages are happening, right? The stages will be taking place in a parallel way. For example, if the development is taking place simultaneously, whatever the code is being developed, it will be tested by the testing team parallelly. Okay, so what is the advantage of doing that? Once the development is taking place, parallelly the testing will take place, and parallelly the build will take place. Simultaneously, the deployment will take place. All these things will take place in a simultaneously, okay, in a similar manner, and finally the faster delivery will be achieved. Okay, faster delivery will be achieved. So that's the advantage of using the agile model. Okay, so see this slide. In waterfall model, what are the soft product is there, right? It is considered as a one single product. Okay, it is considered as a one single product, and the whole team will start working on that at a time. For example, a development team is there. They'll start writing the code for that software product at a time. And once the product is moved to the testing team, they'll start testing the product at a time. Okay. So once the whole stage is completed, only then the next stage will start. But whereas coming to the agile model, the whole software product, what are the project is there, right? That is divided into small bit size pieces, small sizes. Okay, so what will happen? What are the team, for example, development team or testing team, they will test the product in a small bits. Okay, what will happen by doing that? They will try to achieve the faster delivery of the product. They will design the product, they will create the product, software product very fast. Okay, when the product is designed fast, ultimately they will achieve that. They will try to send the product into the production environment so fast so that people can start using the product very soon. Okay, so that's the advantage of using the agile process. Now today, in today's world, 90% of the companies are using agile methodology. Okay, 90% of the companies are using agile methodology for developing the software products. Now let's try to see what is the problem or why we need DevOps in the software development. Okay, so we have something called two teams. Okay, we have something called development team and operational team. Okay, development team and operational team in the software companies, guys. Okay, so the development team consists of the team which writes the code, which builds the code, testing team, quality assurance team. All these teams comes under development team. Okay, and the operational team consists of what? Deployment team, okay, and monitoring team, infrastructure team, and maintenance team. Okay, all these teams will be coming under the operational side. Okay, so usually what happens, guys, whenever the development team makes some changes into the code as per the customer's requirement or as per the customer's feedback. Okay, whenever the development team makes some changes into the code, or they modify the code or they update the code as per the requirement, okay, they introduce new ideas into the project. Okay, they introduce new ideas into the project. So what happens after that? This creates a challenge for the operational team. What are the changes being introduced by the development team? It creates a challenge for the operational team. So what are those challenges? The challenges are like always concerned about the productivity. The operational team will always concerned about the productivity, whether the product will be successful or not, whether the product will be satisfied with the customer or not. Okay, and what kind of they have to create a lot of documentation. They have to test in different environments. Okay, all these challenges are faced by the operational team. Okay, so the operational team is always buried. The operational team is always buried under the mountain of reporting. They'll be always creating these reports and all. They have to they have to see that releases are happening time to time. Okay, they need to move the product to the production stage. Okay, all these things they have to carry out. Okay, so development team will they will finish writing the code, and they will hand over the code to the operational team for the deployment. And operational team has to work out in deploying the code into the deploying the code into the different environments, right? So the operational teams are always busy with the new changes or new updates now and then, right? So the operational team has to coordinate with different teams, like project development team, uh, testing team, quality assurance team, prepare the documentation, deploy the code, test the code. All these things has to be done by the operational team. Okay, so this concept of whenever the code is being changed, okay, whenever there is a new change into the code, operational team always feels that that change is not required. Okay, so this concept of changing the code, or introducing the code, introducing a new change into the code, created a gap between the development team and operational team. Okay, because whatever the technical difficulties are there, operational team has to work on it and resolve it, whereas development team doesn't involve into the operational tasks, right? So this always leads to the gap between the operational team and development team. Okay, understood, right? What exactly the problem is here? So to overcome this problem, guys, to fill up the gap between the development team and operational team, a new concept was created, which we call it as DevOps. Okay, DevOps. So basically, DevOps is nothing but the dev is taken from development team, and ops is taken from operations. Okay, when these two words are combined together, we call it as DevOps. Okay, so basically a DevOps engineer is a person who fills the gap between the development team and operational team. And how that DevOps person will bridge that gap? He'll be using various DevOps tools. Okay, he'll be trying to do the automation between the both development and operational teams. Okay, what are the activities which are being performed by the development and operational team? The DevOps engineer will try to automate them by using different tools. Okay, different tools will be used, different automation techniques will be used, different scripting knowledge will be used to automate the tasks. Okay, since he or she, the DevOps engineer, is handling both development and operational team, they need a highly active, they should be highly active, and they should be technically and non-technically strong. Okay, understood, right? What exactly DevOps means? So DevOps in a person is a who is person who will be bridging the gap. Okay, he'll be filling the gap between the development and operational teams. Okay, so let's try to see what are the different tools available for DevOps. Okay, so these are the life cycle of a software development. Okay, first planning will be done, this one. Then the code will be written by the development team. Then the building of that code will happen. Then the testing will take place. Then finally it will be released. It will be deployed onto the infrastructure, and the operation will take place. And finally monitoring will be done. This is the software development lifecycle, right? And each stage will be having different DevOps tools. Okay, these are the tools which are available in the market, which will be used by the DevOps engineers for automating and completing the both operational and development tasks. Okay, so these are some of the sample tools, guys. Okay, there is no rule that every company will has to use these tools. These are some of the famous tools. Okay, fine. So who is a DevOps engineer? Told you, right? So DevOps engineer is a person who understands the software development lifecycle from starting stage, designing to monitoring. Okay, he or she has a good knowledge in automation tasks. Okay, automation tools as well as automation tasks. Okay, so DevOps engineer is he should be adapt to developing continuous integration and continuous development. Okay, continuous deployment pipeline. So basically, the end to end, from starting designing this code, okay, developing the code, testing the code, building the code, all these stages are called as continuous integration and continuous deployment, which we'll discuss in the coming classes of our DevOps. Okay, so DevOps engineer should have complete idea how this integration and how this deployment works. Okay, he should have the complete understanding of CI/CD pipeline. So what skills DevOps engineer should have? So DevOps engineer should have the scripting knowledges like Python, Ruby, Perl, Shell, whatever it is, a scripting language knowledge should be there. Okay, he or she should have complete knowledge on CI/CD pipelines. Okay, he or she should have knowledge on configuration management tools like Chef and Ansible. Chef and as well as Ansible. Okay, if both are there, fine, or at least one tool should be present in their skill set. Okay, good knowledge in working with the containers. Containers means what? Docker containers. Okay, which we'll discuss in the Docker class. Got it right? Got a basic idea what exactly DevOps engineer is? Okay, so what are the day-to-day activities of a DevOps engineer? So DevOps engineer will try to see that he will be maintaining the DevOps CI/CD pipeline. Okay, he will try to build and servers. If any server goes down, he'll try to build those servers with the help of operational team. Okay, he will be maintaining the servers by monitoring the servers by using the tool called Nagios. Okay, he'll be working with the operational team to fix the issues if any kind of build failures are there. Okay, and also he'll be working with the engineering, and he'll be working with the different engineering teams for architectural enhancements. Okay, so there is no rule that these activities will be constant. These activities will be common in all the organization. These activities may change from place to place and project to project, okay, as per the project requirements. Okay, but these are the most commonly uh, most common activities of what a DevOps engineer will do in a project. Okay, so points to be remembered, guys. DevOps is not a tool. A lot of people tell that DevOps is a software, DevOps is a tool which can be learned and we can become a DevOps engineer. No, that statement is wrong. DevOps is not a tool, it's a methodology, it's a philosophy, or it's a process. Okay, we should understand how software development works, and based on the software development of that particular project, we need to introduce different tools and automation techniques. Okay, DevOps is not a tool, remember that. Okay, cloud computing knowledge has become mandatory. In today's world, a lot of companies are stopping using the on-premise servers. On-premise servers means what? The physical infrastructure. Okay, they have stopped using the physical infrastructure because physical infrastructure, setting up the physical infrastructure is a very huge investment. They have to hire different engineers to maintain that servers. Okay, a lot of costs are involved in maintaining the physical infrastructure. What they are doing, companies are moving their infrastructure to the cloud like AWS, Azure, Google GCP, OCP from Oracle, Alibaba Cloud. Okay, a lot of other tools are there. Okay, so companies are moving their infrastructure from on-premise physical infrastructure to cloud. Okay, so for that reason, in today's world, cloud computing knowledge has become very much important. Okay, both freshers and experience can switch to DevOps. If anyone from our team who is listening this session, if anyone who is not from non-IT background, they can still switch to DevOps practices. Okay, both experienced who are working in different domains like development, testing, QA, whatever team you are working on, whatever field you are working on, whether you are from financial background, whether you are from marketing, whether you are from banking or telecom, whatever sector you are working on, you can still switch to DevOps because DevOps is a practice. Okay, and a lot of whatever the tools are there, if you try to understand how software development works, you can become a DevOps engineer. Okay, so Linux. Okay, Linux basic knowledge will be advantage. If you have understanding, if you have experience with Linux programming, okay, the what are the commands are there, that will be a added advantage. But if you don't have, no need to worry, because in our course we'll be teaching you from scratch what are the Linux, what is Linux, what are the commands has to be executed. All these things will be taught from scratch, okay, from starting point. Okay, so programming law and knowledge will be added advantage. If you have any kind of programming knowledge like Java, .NET or Python, whatever it is, if you have knowledge, fine. If you don't have, no need to worry, because programming knowledge will be very much limited in DevOps. Okay, we'll be not working with the development, so remember that. Fine, more job opportunities for DevOps role. If you just open naukri.com today, now itself, if you open naukri.com or LinkedIn or any other job portal, if you try to search for DevOps, okay, you can find easily at least you can find 1,000 jobs. Okay, all over the world, DevOps has become very much important. Each company has started using DevOps role. Okay, they want to bridge the gap between their development team and operational team, and for that reason they need DevOps engineers. Okay, if you just try to go ahead and search for DevOps engineers in naukri.com now, you can see 1,000 plus openings. Okay, not only in India but also in abroad as well. Okay, so that's the reason DevOps has become a very important skill set in today's world. Okay, remember that. So see, future is automation, guys. Okay, a lot of companies are moving towards automation. They want to automate everything. What are the stages are there, right? In software development, what are the stages I have told you in the previous slides? In the software development, all the stages, they want to build automation. They want to make it as automation. Okay, they don't want any manual tasks, and this automation can be achieved only by DevOps tools. Okay, and what are the tools which we are going to learn? Let's try to see them. So these are the some of the tools which we are going to learn, guys. Okay, we will be starting with Linux fundamentals. What is Linux? What are the commands? What are the basic commands? Okay, all those things we'll be seeing in Linux fundamentals. Then we'll start with AWS. Okay, what is AWS? What is EC2 service? What is auto scaling and all? Okay, all these concepts will be seen in the AWS classes. Okay, and we'll start with Git for version controlling and source code management. Then we'll go ahead with Docker for containerization. Okay, we'll be launching Docker containers and all, and we'll learn Ansible for configuration management. Okay, and we'll start with Jenkins for continuous integration, and we'll be seeing Maven as well for continuous build, and CloudWatch for monitoring purposes, and again Nagios for monitoring purposes. Chef, this is second configuration management tool. This is first, this is second configuration management tools. And finally, we'll end with Kubernetes. Okay, so these are the tools which you are going to learn for the next 60 days. Okay, next 60 days course. Clear it? Fine. So what do you guys need in order to start this course? You need a laptop or a desktop with very good configuration. Okay, you need a AWS account, because all our infrastructure, what are the servers we are going to launch for practicing DevOps, we'll be launching them on AWS. Okay, Amazon Web Services. For doing that, you guys should have a AWS account. Okay, and finally PuTTY and PuTTYgen. Okay, this is a SSH application, SSH client. In order to connect to the Linux servers which is present inside the AWS account, we need PuTTY and PuTTYgen, a very small application, okay, which has to be downloaded and installed on your laptop. Okay, these are the requirements which are required in order to start our course. Okay, so my way of teaching, guys, what I'm going to offer you for the next 60 days. First, I will give you the theoretical knowledge. Whatever the concept is there, theoretical knowledge will be provided first. Okay, then the practical knowledge will be provided. Okay, what are the theory I'm going to show you? I'm going to show you in practical as well by going on to the Linux servers, which I'm going to launch in the AWS. Okay, then also I'm going to provide you the interview question and answers. Okay, if a concept is completed, if a tool is completed, I'll provide you the interview question and answers. Then I'll provide you the material as well, the documentation part. You can refer all the commands, all the theoretical part in that material. Okay, and if everyone is interested, if everyone is fine, I'll conduct a mock assessment as well, just to make sure that how much you have understood the concept. Okay, and finally, I will give you the resume preparation and tips for cracking the interviews. Okay, and this is what I'm going to offer you guys. So finally, so let's try to change. Okay, let's try to understand how software development works with the help of DevOps. Okay, so if you guys have any kind of doubts, you can start asking. Any kind of doubts, guys? Any kind of doubts which I mean, with respect to software development, what are the stages and all? Did you got an idea how DevOps works? What exactly DevOps is? So how many of you guys are interested in joining this course after this session? Okay, few things, guys. Actually, I'm the trainer, and if you guys are interested in joining this course, please talk to the management once. Okay, so management means like Durga Soft Management. They will tell you the course fees and all. Okay, so we'll be having this session every day morning 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Okay, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Okay, and this is IST, Indian Standard Time. If anyone is joining from abroad, from US, Canada, Australia, so make sure that we are following. I'm telling you 7 to 8 a.m. IST. So make sure that whatever the timing it is there according to your time zone. Okay. The second thing, fees. Okay, fees. I can't tell you that. What I will do, I'm sharing the management details, guys. Okay, the email address and mobile number in the chat box. You can you can mail them or you can call them. Okay, and you can have a discussion about the fees. What exactly the fees we are going to charge for this course. Okay. I have dropped the email address and mobile number in the chat box. You can take that number, you can call to them and you can have a discussion. Okay. So any other doubts? So we are going to have this session for 60 days, guys. Okay, 60 days, 60 working days, and I'll be taking classes from Monday to Friday. Okay, Saturday, Sunday will be off. Saturday, Sunday is off. Okay. So any other doubts? So how many of you guys are interested in joining this course? If interested, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a WhatsApp group, okay, for our class information, like for what are the batch we are going to start now, just to make sure that what exactly we are learning and the documents which you are going to share, and for all the rest of the information, like whether whether there's a class today or not, if the class is getting cancelled, just for make sure that the information is getting passed to each and everyone, I'm going to create a WhatsApp group. If everyone is interested, you can share your mobile number in the chat box. So as once again, guys, I have sent the email address and mobile number in the chat box. I hope everyone can see that, and you can call to that mobile number, or you can drop an email address, drop an email to that email ID, and you can ask for the fees details and other details. Okay, you will be provided with each session. Whatever the session is being taught every day, each session will be recorded. You can find that session recorded, the recorded session in the Google Drive, and you can review that session once again, and you can clear your doubts again and again. Okay, so if you guys are interested in joining this course, uh, if you are interested, there is no force. You can share your mobile number. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create a WhatsApp group with that mobile number, and I'll be sharing the information with respect to the course. Okay. So any other doubts, guys? Anyone has any doubts with respect to DevOps or course? No doubts? So anyone joining from abroad, guys? Anyone joining from US, Canada, UK? Okay, fine. So Kamal is asking, is there any clearance session conducted in the course? Clearance session means if you, I mean, if you have any doubts with, for example, see guys, if I'm teaching you a concept today, and if you have any doubts, we'll be having a discussion once the concept completes. For example, we are discussing Git, okay, Git tool. And after the completion of that tool or that particular day, what are the concept we are learning? If you have any doubts, I'll give you some time. You can ask that doubt, and I'll try to resolve. I mean, I'll try to clear that doubt then and there itself. Okay. So I hope that answered your question. So one person is asking, I'm working as AWS support. Can I join? Sure. Yes, absolutely. You can join. I'm not sure what's your name. Okay. TT. Okay. So you can join. Absolutely, you can join without any sort of doubt. Okay. DevOps can be learned by any person who is having a little bit of knowledge in the software development. Okay. So fine, guys. So any other doubts? So Saima, you are joining from US, right? So make sure that what are the timing what I have mentioned, 7 to 8 a.m. IST, it matches your US timings. Okay, and we'll be connecting tomorrow at 7 a.m. Okay, so I'll take the numbers, guys. I'll create a WhatsApp group in the evening, and I'll post the information with respect to our course in that group. Okay, so what will happen, guys? What is the next thing which is going to happen? So the next 3 4 days, okay, 2 or 3 days, I'll be taking the demos only. Okay, I'll be taking the demos so that people who are joining, they'll be joining in our course the next 2 or 3 days. So the next 2 or 3 days, the course will be a little bit slow. Okay, the course, the whatever the content we are learning, the content will be very much slow. And if you want to join, I mean, if you want to see the demo session tomorrow also, you can join. You are welcome. But if you, I mean, if you are fine, you can join from 2 or 3 days later. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to post that answer when the content of DevOps starts. I'm going to post it into the WhatsApp group. Okay. So tomorrow will be demo session again, and from day after tomorrow, we'll be starting our actual DevOps class. Okay. So remember that point. Okay. I'm going to post that information in the WhatsApp group when actually our DevOps classes, the technical part starts. Okay, so tomorrow is going to be a second demo session. Okay, so any other doubts, guys? Shall we conclude this call? I hope that information is clear.
స్క్రీన్ రికార్డ్ పెడతాయి ఎప్పుడు చెప్తాడు
Any other doubts, guys? Course content. Course content. See, I'm going to what are the tools which you're learning here? Okay, these tools. Okay, I'm going to give the content in the Word format. Okay, we'll be uploading the Word documents in the Google Drive. Okay, we are going to create a Google Drive, okay, folder, and the management, the DurgaSoft management is going to share that Google Drive with your particular email ID. Okay, what are the email ID you have? You have to share it with Google DurgaSoft. They will give a access to that Google Drive. And what are the documents which I'm going to share? Okay, I have some documents for each and every tool. I'm going to upload the documents into that Google Drive. Okay, you can access that content, and whatever the content I'm teaching you, the same content will be there in a theoretical manner. Okay, clear, right? So these are the course content. Okay, these are the tools which you are going to learn, and what are the material I'm going to provide that will be present in the Google Drive. I hope that answered your question. So any other doubts, guys? No doubts? Shall we conclude this call? Okay. So what I'm going to do, guys, tomorrow at 7 a.m. we are going to have second demo session. If you guys are interested, you can still join, and from day after tomorrow, guys, okay, we are going to have our DevOps classes start. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a WhatsApp group today evening, and I will be posting the information about our DevOps classes and all in that WhatsApp group. Okay, thank you so much for joining, guys, and have a great day. Let's catch up tomorrow at 7 a.m. Okay, one last question. I have 6+ years of experience in various fields. Can I switch to yes, absolutely. So people who are working in different IT fields like development, testing, or any other domains. Okay, any other domains, they can still switch to DevOps, guys. For example, if you have 8 years of experience, what you can do, you can showcase 5 years of experience in actually whatever field you were there, you have worked on, and the rest of the 3 years you can showcase as DevOps engineer. Okay, you can split that experience into two parts, and you can showcase it as DevOps engineer. Okay, so a lot of people, a lot of students, my previous students do that. Okay, whenever anyone is switching to DevOps or any other new domain, what are the previous experience they have, they take some experience from that total experience and they give that to the new technology. Okay, so absolutely, there is no problem in doing that. Whatever the 6+ experience you have, you can split it into two parts, where you can give it like 3 or 4 years for DevOps and 2 years for other whatever you have worked on. Okay, so that is absolutely possible. I hope that answered your question. So that's it, right? Any other doubts? Brahmaji is asking, I don't have any software knowledge. Can I switch to those? Yep. Told you, right? People from different domains like banking, financial, marketing, telecom have switched to DevOps, and they have proved themselves. They have become a very good DevOps engineers. There is no problem in becoming a DevOps engineer if you are from any non-IT background. Okay, if you're not from a software background, no problem. You can still switch to DevOps. All you have to do is you have to understand the concepts, practice it, and remember the commands and all. We will be having a lot of commands. Okay, Linux commands, you have to remember those commands, and you have to understand the software development life cycle, how exactly the software development goes on, what kind of tool has to be used at a certain stage, and you will be able to become a very good DevOps engineer. Okay, I hope that cleared your doubt. Any other doubts, guys? Any other doubts, Brahmaji? Okay, fine. So that's it, right? So shall we conclude this call? Okay, so let's conclude this call for today, guys. Let's catch up tomorrow at 7 a.m. and we'll be having the second demo session. Okay, thank you so much for joining, and have a great day.